Welcome to Tangier Talks. I am so excited to be finally recording this. This is this shit that I had dreamed of since first listening to podcasts back in like 2014, 2013, when I used to listen to Rap Radar. Then it transitioned to Joe Budden podcast, and then Bevy Smith, and then all of the many podcasts to follow. I'm a person that talks to myself anyway, and I leave long ass voice notes. So to be able to sit here and share my intrusive thoughts it's a very scary as experience, but also one that I am looking forward to stretch and to grow me. So I'm really looking forward to just sharing glimpses of my world and or my thoughts with those that are just interested. We're literally on the tail end of 2024. It's now December 31st. It's about 10:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I am laying in my bed with my leopard pajamas on, getting ready to pretty much pass out once I'm done recording this. I'm an individual that's very reflective, and not just because we're at the end of the year, but I have just been in a state of constant reflection. Just as I've gone through so many experiences, not only in 2012, but within the last few years that have just put me in this state. So I'm always reflective, always wondering, how I can do better, how I can better myself, how I cannot look to control things, and just how I can just be better in all avenues of life. And as I was working today, all of a sudden I just felt like a heavy sadness, that just came upon me. And prior to that, I have been just very excited about 2025 arriving, and just the knowing that big shit is happening. I have a lot of shit that is coming down the pipeline of things that I have focused on, I have prayed for, I have worked hard for, and they're going to be coming to pass for me as we enter into 2025. However, I just couldn't help but to just kind of take inventory of the current state of my life and just be fucking sad. And with that, I had reached out to a really good friend of mine, and I was like, yo, I'm feeling really fucking sad right now. Can you pray for me? And within a couple minutes of me doing that, I just felt like another rush that just kind of overshadowed the sadness. And it was literally like a battery in my back. And I heard my other really good friend just talking to me, and she's one of the reasons, as the many friends and family that I have that have pushed me forth to actually do this podcast. She's like, T, I really think that this is something that you need to do. You need to just go out there and do it. Who gives a fuck? Who's listening? Who cares? Just do that shit. Do that shit. Just do that shit. And I just hear her in my ear, and I just got charged up. And I went ahead and I just started, kind of brainstorming. And there's no real guide to this shit. There's no real show notes. There's none of that. There's just me off the cuff just talking about shit that I'm thinking about. And I had to reach out to her, and I was like, yo, bro, this is about to go live. I'm going to do this shit. And it just felt really good in that moment to understand duality. Two things can be true at the same fucking time. I can be so sad and feel a lot of grief as to where the current state of my life is. But then on the flip side, I can also be very happy and very hopeful and feeling so much faith as to where I can see my life is going to be. The current state of my life, while it's not bad, because I'm alive, I'm healthy, my children are healthy, they're safe, they're protected, so am I. Like, I got a roof over my head, we got a roof over our head, all of that good stuff. There's just certain parts of it that I just wish were better. And I know that this time next year, I'm absolutely not going to be in the same space. Like, a lot of these circumstances that I'm under right now will not be things that I will be under come this time next year. My life is going to look drastically different in the best way possible. And it's a lot of it is because I know so. A lot of it is because of the seeds that I've sown. But a lot of it is because I just have a crazy amount of faith. I've gone through so many different things this year that has challenged my faith. I'm not a person that grew up in, like a church going, praying type of household. I had to learn God for myself, going through difficult times and struggles. And this year, out of all of my time, I realized that it's just really me and God out here. And my faith has just been so crazy in certain areas, but I haven't given God the full scope of my life. So as we move into 2025, my hope, my prayers, my wishes is that I can really fully give God my all parts of my life, so He can do whatever He needs to do. But for right now, the faith that I have that, again, my life will not look this way that it'll look 1,000 times better. It'll look better than I even imagine it come this time next year. Is just really solely based off my faith. And the one thing I can say about a lot of my friendships is that we're all rooted in Christ. So that's, we do the bullshit, the kiki, the laughing, and all of that. But at the end of the day, we serve a God that we know that is faithful. He cares about us. He loves us. And that's the one thing that I can say, that for all of my friendships, that they, like, my friends hold me down in that way. So when there's times when I'm feeling discouraged, my friends will let me get my shit off. But then on the flip side, it'll be like, all right, but God got you. It's going to be all right. And it's just not something that we just say just to say. We know that to be true because we've seen it happen in our lives. We know it to be true for real because we've experienced it. So when I reached out to my girl and I'm like, yo, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm about to do. I'm like, it's because of you. You're the reason why I'm about to put this shit out. Like, this shit's I'm loading up the clip. And just like the excitement that she had for me to do this, because she know that, number one, this is something I've been wanting to do for a long time, and number two, she and so many other people have so much faith in me when it comes to this. I think when you think about podcasting, it feels like it's very oversaturated, and that was one of the reasons why I didn't pursue it. I also felt like you had to have this equipment. It had to look like this. It had to be like this. It had to be super perfect. And at some point you'll get there, but you just got to start. And I think that that's one of the other lessons that I've learned this year, is that you just got to start shit. Like, it's not always going to be cutesy and perfect. And you can build on it, and you can make it your own as you go along. But you got to fucking try. Like, you got to try. So this is my try. This is me coming on here, talking about the things that I'm experiencing, with the hopes that others can resonate, um, and we can talk outside of the podcast about, about people's thoughts and opinions, just because I'm really curious. And I think that a lot of the things that we think that we're going through, we think that we're going through them shits alone, and meanwhile it's a bunch of other motherfuckers out here that's dealing with the same thing. So I'm excited for this. I'm excited to do something new. um And I just really hope that people fuck with it. And if they don't, they don't. I'll just do this shit just for me. And I'm really okay with that too. Um, but I'm excited. I'm excited for 2025 and all that it has to bring, all the challenges I'm sure that it'll bring, but all the really good shit that it's gonna bring. I just something about it that just feels positive. And I'm not one to always be screaming about this year's gonna be their year every year, but this year is my year. It's a lot of big shit happening. It's a lot of big shit happening. It's a lot of shit to be celebrated. Just for the many years of different things that I've gone through that I didn't get a chance to stop and celebrate myself because I was, raising my kids, or I was not able to celebrate at that time, or I was just so focused on the next thing I wasn't able to sit with the accomplishment that I had. So I'm looking forward to celebrating every fucking thing in 2025 and celebrating my people in 2025, loving on my people in 2025, getting money in 2025, and above all else, just definitely keeping God first, um, because yeah, it's just you got to keep God first in all that you do. So fuck with me, guys. Come for this ride, and there'll be so much more to come. Thanks for listening.